hello. This is Nicole Whitlock with eCom Sellers, and this is day 18 woohoo, of the Print on Demand Challenge. So we are about to transition to stage two. So before we transition to stage two, we want to talk about what is our game plan, what's the long game, and what's our strategy going to either be for the next 30 days, 60 days, 90 days for our business. How are we going to maintain and sustain continuing this business? So for the last 2 days, we talked about the schedule. So today we're going to talk about what are the actions or activities that we can plug into that schedule that are going to help us to maintain and sustain that. But before we get into that, do we have any questions?
I don't think so.
No.
All right. So the goal is to sustain any momentum that we're starting to build. Hopefully we've started to build some momentum. By the end of this week, you're supposed to either have 5 listings up or 7 listings up. 7 if it's the stretch goal for you, 5 if it's just the basic minimum. And then last week, it should have been 3 to 4. So my hope is that you either have 11 or you at least have 8, anywhere between 8 and 11 listings active on Etsy. So when we're talking about our putting together our game plan and what are the things that we're going to have to do, we know that the actions that we have to do in our business are going to be around, of course, listing. If we decide we're going to, depending on what type of print on demand we decide to advance to, some shipping element, it may be extremely minimal or it may be more involved. We're going to have some level of research that's going to be either product or listing research that we're going to potentially do. Could also be the keyword research using eRank, Google Trends, keywords everywhere. We will maybe have some sourcing if we're going to put our designs onto something else. And we're going to have probably some level of customer service, follow-up, answering questions, dealing with returns and refunds, because that's the nature of e-commerce. And that never goes away, no matter how hard we try. It's always going to be there. So there's some level of customer service dealing with, refunds, returns, and feedback and things like that, and follow up with questions and things like that. We may have some level of marketing or traffic. Okay. And education, because we always want to continue to get better at what we're doing right now. So these are the things that we know we're going to spend the majority of our time, or we should be spending the majority of our time on the listing side of this, creating listings. And that means that we're also, as we are creating listings, we have to, hold on, let me put this here. I'm going to put before that the product. Because under normal circumstances, we would be sourcing from somewhere, whether we're doing wholesale, drop shipping, whatever, we'd be sourcing from somewhere. But the thing is that we are developing the product. We have to create the design, or we have to use a service to create the design, or we have something has to happen in order for the design to exist, right? So I'm going to put that, and I'm putting an asterisk here, and I'm going to put that under operations. Like, this is the development of your product. Whatever that happens to be, the development of the product has to happen first. Then you're going to develop the listing after that. These are not necessarily in sequential order, because if I was going to put them in sequential order, I'd put research first, so you can figure out what kind of product you want to create. So I would definitely put research before I would put anything else. Let me just do this. Just for a second, because that'll help me to just think a little clearer. All right. So research is always paramount to anything that we do. Before we create a product, we need to know what it is that we are going to be, selling. So as we look at our ideas, the ideas that we have, one of them is around a reading program, putting together like a reading challenge, a reading program. And the other one is centered around scriptures are the center of it, but there's so many different directions in which we can go. So there's a tool that is called, I think it's called mind mapping. I think that's what it is. Mind mapping. Free. There we go. Free mind mapping tool online. I cannot mind Mup and Mindster. Oh, Bubbles. Okay, so I'm going to put these two in the chat. Bubbles is one of them. I am not on Facebook Live. Hold on, I'm like, where are you? Okay, so Bubbles is one of them. Sure, I've used Bubbles in the past. And the other one is, I think it's Mind Mup is what it is. I'm going to look at it and see if I remember it. Okay. So the reason that I am giving you these two tools, and I've used Bubbles before, is because when you start down the path of thinking about your business beyond this very moment, you have a lot of ideas. The example I gave you was all the ideas that I had. Like I just literally was just rattling off idea after idea after idea, and it just will never stop. It is an endless, it's an endless bowl of ideas. There's never a bottom to my bowl. So the ideas just come to me. And the great thing about mind mapping is, okay, we can decide what we want to take on, and we can decide how much of it we want to accomplish and when we want to accomplish it. But first, we got to do a brain dump of those things. And we don't want to lose the other ideas that we may not be able to launch in this time period. So I'm going to, at the top of here, I'm going to put Charlotte. I may need to go vertical. I'm not really sure yet. And I'm going to put Cassandra over here because you guys are on the line. So Charlotte starts off with the basic of, I know the foundation of whatever she's going to create is going to include a scripture. Okay. So she's going to have idea 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever those ideas are. She's going to use the Bubbles tool or the mind map tool to just do a dump of all the ideas. There's going to be the center of it. The center of that is like, okay, the base of everything we're doing is scripture, but there's all these other pieces that are part of this journey. So what I always try to do is I only want to take on one new thing a month. And when I say one new thing a month, I'm going to, once I do my brain dump of all of the ways that this thing can expand or grow or stretch out and become something bigger, this is your base product. I am going to separate those activities out into month activities. So we'll start with, let's just pretend we're at the beginning of the year. Probably should have done vertical. I mean, yeah, horizontal. So the beginning of the year, January, Feb, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Okay. So she looks at her list of ideas, concepts, things that she's thinking about rolling out. And there's always typically 4 weeks in a month, right? Most of the time, 4 weeks in a month. So if you were to break down those 4 weeks into segments, let's say in week 1, you're going to focus 100%. Well, first you have your idea. So I do a lot of planning. So we're going to start off with the idea. So in the month of January, let's say her idea is she is going to create, we're going to stick with scripture cards because that's where we started. Scripture cards. And the plan is to repurpose those scripture cards. So at the beginning of every week, she sits down for at least 30 minutes to an hour as she brainstorms all the different ways in which she could do scripture cards. And that will flourish out to something else. It could be week 1, she could be doing scripture cards around love. Then week 2, she could be doing scripture cards around thankfulness. Week 3, she could be doing scripture cards around forgiveness. Week 4 could be doing scripture cards around prayer. So, or patience or any of the other things. So I'm going to move this down because I clearly don't have enough space. I should have gone horizontal, which is what I said. Okay, so if she's going to break this out, you can start off with week 1. So week 1, we're going to do scripture cards on love. That means that she's going to create, maybe she starts off Monday and Tuesday, Monday doing the research and doing the keyword research, because again, we got to go back to our foundation of all the activities. So she's going to start off with the research of all the potential card combinations for that week around love. Then Tuesday, she starts to develop her products. She can develop her products and maybe come up with, if she does her research and she says, okay, I think that I have, 200 scriptures that I could reference, or 100 scriptures that I could reference around love. So that's what I'm going to write down, because you got to have put all this into a notebook. So let's say she comes up with 100 scriptures around love. Then she's going to decide, how do I want to split out these scripture cards? Do I want to sell them in packs of 20? So then that way I could create 5 for each, five packs for the rest of the week. So Tuesday would be a pack of 20, Wednesday would be a pack of 20, Thursday is a week pack of 20, Friday is a pack of 20, Saturday is a pack of 20, to get through 5 packs, 100 scriptures, and she's spread that out throughout the week, 20 apiece. Okay, that gets you to 100 scriptures. Are you following me so far?
Yes.
Okay. So then after she's kind of split out her scripture, she's got her 100 scriptures because she did her research. She also, when she was doing her research, she literally went out there and looked at other listings, other competitors, or products on other websites that were scripture based, and the foundation was love. To grab any keywords, any important phrases or sentences, anything about the titles of those products, anything that's going to potentially help her products be seen organically, be found organically, and so on and so forth. So you spend Tuesday beginning the process of your first 20, and you figure out what kind of design you want and how you want them to lay out, vertical, horizontal, if you want, some flowers or something on them, or hearts, or whatever you want, a cross, however you want to do your scripture cards. Because at some point we're going to use these love scriptures again. So she starts putting together her first set of scripture cards. She puts together her cover photo for her listing. She begins to build out her listing number 1 for her scripture cards done. Wednesday done, Thursday done, Friday done, Saturday done. She got through her entire 100 because she did some strategic planning starting on Sunday, and then Monday she started doing the research to take a deeper dive into where she was going to go with this. Okay, so it's spread out, and you may determine as part of this activity that you want to split out how you do the listings, and that's fine too. I just know that the algorithm, Etsy's algorithm, likes for you to have listings every single day. I was going to say scriptures every day. I'm sure it probably does too, but I'm going to go through listings on Sunday and we didn't create listings on Monday. How do we resolve that? So that's your opportunity to actually do repurposed listings. So if she's got her listings of 20 each day for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, what she could do is she could do a mix and match, 2 different mix and match bundles, or maybe she does a cluster bundle where she sells 50, because she's already created the bundles. She's already created the scriptures, right? She could sell a bundle of 50 on Monday or Sunday, or put that listing up, and then Monday put up the bundle of 100. So now she doesn't have to redo anything. All she has to do is create a cover photo, and that cover photo may only take her 10 or 15 minutes. And she doesn't have to create any or design any products, thereby allowing herself to spend the rest of her remaining hour or 2 hours on true product development. Okay, so then we come to week 2 and of this journey, and you're going to do, I don't know, patience. I think I had patience before at some point. And so the same concept of creating scriptures around that. Now, again, as part of your research and as part of your discovery on Sunday, you're going to figure out which scriptures are the ones that people are searching for the most. Based on what I remember, and this is a long time ago because I did some research for another project I was working on for the church, that thankfulness, of course, is the one that comes up quite often, being thankful, and love came up. Can't remember what the other ones were. I know that those were in the top 2 or top 5 of scriptures that are most searched on the internet. So you're going to go do that research to figure out which scriptures are the most searched. So then week 3, we're doing thankfulness. And then week 4, we're doing forgiveness. Okay. All right. So she's got these scripture cards that she's created, and she's she's moving down that path. She's got a strategy for every single day and an ability to create listings every single day, because she's going to take the thing that she split out into 20s and consolidate them on that Sunday and Monday on the following week. So then that way she doesn't have to worry about designing or developing any new products, because designing and developing is going to take a little bit of time. It's going to take at least the whole hour, if not a little bit more time, to create that product and to also create the cover. Now she's going to do the same thing for, she's going to go through in February, and she's going to decide in February, I'm not going to do scripture cards. What I'm going to do is maybe I'm going to do t-shirts. Okay. So now that I've decided in February, and this is again part of your planning, so you're going to do a monthly planning and you can do a quarterly planning, because there might be a strategy to this. And when I say quarterly planning, go out there and you're going to do some analysis on what are the things and what's the cycle, maybe in Google Trends or whatever, when it comes to scriptures and a thing. So scriptures and cards, scriptures and shirts, scriptures and hats, scriptures and tote bags, scriptures and notebooks, scriptures and what? Like, you're going to do some research so you can figure out in this quarter, these were the hot searched items. In this quarter, these were the hot searched items. So let's just pretend in quarter one, it was cards, it was, and we'll do books maybe for March. It was cards, t-shirts, and books. Those were the hot searched items. And actually, since February is Valentine's Day, I'm sure it was something else for Valentine's Day. Probably some level of a gift, something engraved or something like that. But anyway, so we're going to go with t-shirts for the sake of getting through this. All right. So now that she's kind of got, she goes through and she develops her process of, this is the thing I'm going to focus on in February. My scripture cards are out there. They're still in circulation. They're still getting some traction. Maybe every week I'll go out there and put one of them on sale. I'll pick one of my 20s and put it on sale, or one of my 100s and put it on sale. But I've got a rotation of cards that I'm creating. Okay, so I'm going to put one of them on sale at least once a week, or do some type of promotion for one of them once a week to continue to allow that traffic to circulate. Now I'm going to do t-shirts in the month of February. And so for the first week in February, I literally could take some of these same scripture cards that I've already created. You don't have to, but just for the purposes of getting through this exercise. And I am going to focus on designing shirts with love scriptures on them in week one. I can do, 2 shirts, 5 shirts. I can decide how many I do want to do or don't want to do. So maybe I'm going to do 5 shirts that have scriptures on them. Maybe I'll do 10 shirts that have scriptures on them, designing them, choosing a font, maybe doing something a little more elaborate, doing something a little more fancy, maybe doing variations. So week 1, Tuesday, I'm still doing my Sunday planning. Monday, I'm doing my research around t-shirts and love scriptures. Tuesday, I'm starting my design. So I'm going to create maybe 5 t-shirts. So let me just put some numbers over here. Oops. Nope. So this is 20 and 20, and I'm going to put a dot there. Otherwise, it's going to try to do some math. And 100, okay? Because you did 50 and 100. Sorry, 50 and then 100. So your 20 was Tuesday through Thursday. Your 50 was Sunday, and your 100 was Monday, okay, of the following week. Okay, so we're going to start off with the t-shirts, and maybe you do 5 t-shirts on Tuesday, and maybe you do them in different colors. Okay, so you choose a scripture, maybe do 5 different colors, maybe you do 5 different scriptures. You decide what you want to do. Then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, then you can come back and you can put together scripture shirts for a bundle that people can buy. Maybe there is a church retreat, and so they're going to have the scripture maybe on the back or scripture on the front, and you can offer to put on the back whatever the name of the group is or the name of the church. So you can do that kind of thing. Maybe there's a bridal shower. Maybe there is a youth camp, something that's happening. And so you're going to promote these shirts in larger quantity. So if you're doing 5, let's say Sunday, you're going to offer a 20 pack because you've done 5 times 5 is 25. I can do that math. And then took me a minute. So I got 5 scriptures, 5 days, so 25. So maybe I do this as 15, and then the other one I do 25. But you get the point. And so I'm going to repurpose the designs that I already did Tuesday through Thursday, and I'm going to sell them in bundles on Sunday, or list them in bundles on Sunday and list them in bundles on Monday, and then go back through that cycle. You can choose whether or not it's Monday, Tuesday, when you can decide which day you want to do this. But I am being strategic about developing something new and then bundling it together. And you can decide how you want to do the variations. It could be based off of scripture, it could be based off of color. And you're going to go through that process. We're going to do the same thing around patience, offering those things now before you choose whatever the scripture is. If you're going to offer it, you probably want to go see what, or do some Google research on which scriptures are most common on t-shirts and stuff like that, so that way you stay in the realm of what people would normally have on their shirt traditionally. Not that you can't do something outside of that, but that would be helpful to know what it is that, as far as church is concerned, what they are. So it may not end up being patience, and it may not end up being forgiveness. It may be completely different scriptures. Okay. It could be scriptures around grace and mercy. It could be scriptures around discernment. It could be anything. I don't know, but you're going to go do that research so you can figure out what, based on the shirts that I'm seeing and based on the shirts that I see sold, what is the most common scripture that shows up on the shirt. And you can lump that together. That may be, something you also use later on for scripture cards. Then for March, so this is each week 1 of January, week 2 of January, week 3 of January, week 4 of January. Okay. Each week. I said, well, I have one of them. Yeah. Anyway, does this make sense so far?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So then it gives you an opportunity to always be developing a new product and putting that new product out in the universe and allowing it to be, tested, analyzed, whatever, by the universe based on your research. So your 2 days of, 1, doing some deep research, and 2, then figuring out where to go get the scriptures so that you're ready to go the rest of the week are going to be important. Okay. So whatever that time is for you, whether it's 2 hours, 1 hour, you figure it out based on your schedule, because you have to build your schedule first so that you can do this. So then I get into March, and let's say I'm going to do notebooks, or I'm going to do a low content book. And at the top of each page of the book, maybe you do a 100-page low content book. And at the top of each page, now you have all these amazing scriptures. So I'm going to change some of these. I don't even know if I spelled that right. Y'all can tell me later. I don't even
Looks
know.
right to me.
Okay. I'm telling you, for whatever reason, because of COVID, I never used to second guess my spelling. And now everything looks wrong. Everything looks wrong. And I'm like, oh, did I even spell that right? Anyway, so we'll talk about grace and mercy, and pick what's another scripture set that we often hear. Give me one.
Joy.
Joy. There you go. All right. So now we have all of these amazing different scriptures. Okay. We have different scriptures, and now we have a set of 7 different sets of scriptures, types of themes or whatever. Now I can put this into a notebook. And because I went out there and did the research, or because she went out there and did the research around joy, or she did the research about patience, or she did the research about grace and mercy, or she did the research about, discernment, whatever it happens to be, she can create low content books with a little scripture at the bottom of each page or at the top of each page with that focus. She can put a cover on the front of that book that says joy, and she can sell it in multiple colors. See where I'm going with this? So it becomes ongoing products, and you're doing the work. Sometimes you're doing the work twice, sometimes you're doing the work once, but it is something that you can ultimately repurpose to allow you the opportunity to produce a product to put out to the universe. So day 1, creating that low content book. The only thing I can tell you about that is when you do create the low content notebooks, you just, like every single page, you just have to have, it has to have the lines, and then you got to put the scripture either at the top or the bottom. If you wanted to put a little, whatever, flower, cross, whatever you want to put on there, bird, dove, you decide, but that's what it'll be. So I'm going to grab these same ones. Not that she wants to create a low content book with these, but we're just going to go with it. And so her first one, the front of that low content book is love. And so it is a love notebook for journaling. Okay. And at the top of each book page or at the bottom of each page, let's say it's 100 pages or 200 pages or whatever, she designs the front cover and she's got scriptures. Tuesday, and then Wednesday, she designs a completely different cover and she's got the same scriptures on the inside. And then day 4, she designs a completely different cover and she's got the same scriptures on the inside. And then day 5, she's got a completely different cover and she's got the same scriptures on the inside. Do you see what I'm saying here? Yes?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So now she's got how many products is she putting out into the universe? Every single month, she's being intentional and she is being strategic about what she's putting out into the universe based on some prior research that she's done. So you might want to go do prior research and say, okay, when are people normally buying journals? Well, they're probably normally buying them in January. They're journaling in January, and then they're sometimes journaling and other times during the year. The other thing, healing would be a good one. Oh my gosh, because again, there's a lot of people who are sick. We're actually working on a bundle around COVID, like for people who need to journal what's happening with their body, because I'm one of those people every single day. And so we actually created a journal. We haven't put together our COVID bundle yet, but we're piecing it together. But anyway, so one of them, she could have a cover that says healing, and she could have healing related scriptures on each individual page. Okay. And it could be 100-page journaling or 200 pages or 300 pages. I don't know if you can find that many scriptures, so maybe you'll do it on one side and not the other, but you get the point. She can go through that process and come up with different covers. And now she's put all of these out to the universe. So by the end of this month, now I got to figure out how many products she's put out into the universe. She's got 20 times 5 is 100 plus the 50 plus another 100. So she's got 250 every single week. 250, that's 1,000. Is that right? Yeah. No. Yes. Well, okay. Individual products, she's selling them in bulks. So technically, she's got 5, 6, 7. She should sell, if you do that, 7 is 28. Okay. But the amount of things or combinations that she has available, the variations are potentially 1,000 different variations. But she's putting out 28 products because she's got 7 each week. And there's 4 weeks, so 7 times 4. Then her t-shirt game, if she's creating 5 t-shirts a day, well, 5 times 5 is 25 different products that she's creating. 5 times 5. And that different product can be, some of them are just a different color with the same words on the front. Okay. That's that simple. But it's 25 different listings, or 5 different listings. So 5 different listings every single day, 25 in a week, or 35 in a week, because she's got to do Saturday, 20. So hold on, I'm lost. So 25 plus Saturday is 1 listing and Sunday is 1 listing. So Saturday is 1 listing because she's doing a bundle of 15, and Sunday is 1 listing. She's doing a bundle of 15, and Monday is 1 listing because she's doing a bundle of 25. So she's got the 25 that are Tuesday through Saturday plus 1 and 1. So she's doing 27. So 27 times 4 is, I don't know. My brain is not going that fast. So she's creating 104 new products, 108 new products, 108 new listings. That's what she's got. Okay. She's got all these other amazing things that she's already done. She's probably repurposing some of the scriptures that she used somewhere else. And then that way she doesn't have to do that research again. So she's got 28 here, 108 here. Now we come down here, and if she's doing low content books, and she's creating 1 new low content book every single day, and then on Sunday and Monday, she's going to repurpose the ones that she's done. So maybe she'll sell a 2-pack on Sunday and a 4-pack on Monday, or she'll sell a 5-pack on Sunday and a 10-pack on Monday. She can decide how she wants to do it. But she's got 1 new listing, plus she's doing maybe a 2-pack on Sunday and a 4-pack on Monday. Okay. She does that all through the end of that month. That's another 28 new listings. Again, remembering to go back and do sales, at least one sale a week, offering one sale a week on any of the things. Her store, your store, is going to be building up very quickly using this process. Before you know it, you will be known as the lady to go to if you want products that have scriptures on them, because you now have notebooks, you now have t-shirts, and you also have scripture cards. You're being strategic about how you spread out your time and where you invest your time to be able to hit all the things that are over here so that you can continue to grow your business. So research is going to be paramount, and you commit to that in this example on Sunday to do some really deep research to see what are the things that people are putting, when are they buying notebooks and what are they putting on those notebooks. And really, you're doing the research, there's one day or 2 days maybe, that you're doing your quarterly planning, because you do need to have a quarterly planning session. So let me go back up here. So you need 2 days for quarterly planning. Okay. You can be strategic about what people are buying. And then you want to do at least 1 day for monthly planning. So once a month, you're going to plan what you're doing for the entire month. And once a quarter, you're going to spend 2 days focused 100% on the entire quarter. You're going to focus on January, February, March for 2 days. And what I mean by 2 days is, if you say that you're going to work in your business for 1 hour a day, then that means you're going to work a total of 2 hours total, because it's 2 days. If you say you're going to work in your business a total of 2 hours every single day, then you're going to do the strategic planning for 4 total hours. Does that make sense? Because I'm not trying to break whatever your dedicated or committed time that you have reserved to work on your business. I'm not trying to break that. If you can find additional time, like if this could be extra time, then that's even better. If you can make extra time for these up here and keep everything else status quo, keep everything 1 hour, that's fantastic. But if you can't keep everything 1 hour and you got to steal from other places, you may have to steal 15 minutes from your hour somewhere to make this work. So if you got a job, you may want to take like 1 day vacation once a quarter, so that way you can put all this into 1 day. So take that 1 day of vacation. Don't use the time you already have reserved to work your business. If you're planning on working your business every single day from, 9 o'clock at night until 11 o'clock at night, then keep 9 o'clock at night and 11 o'clock at night going the way that you have it, because you have a routine, you have a habit that you've built, and borrow the time from somewhere else. See if you can take some vacation time once a quarter so that you can do some quarterly planning, and you can also do some strategic monthly planning. So that when you get to this time, that research time that you spend on Sunday and the research time that you spend on Monday can stay within that 1 hour to 2 hour window that you reserved. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So you're going to do the same thing every single quarter. You're going to have something new that you're going to come out with. You're going to roll out something new. We're not going to mix it up. So you have to decide, after you do the mind mapping, what do you feel like, what resonates with you? Where is your passion? What is the thing that gives you energy, that you're like, I really want to create a scripture journaling notebook for couples? If that's where your passion is, that may be the first thing that you start with. And you're going to create variations of that to some extent, or repurpose some of the scriptures from it in this journey that you're going on. By the end of the year, you'll have so many scriptures, like you'll never have to go do scripture research again. The other thing is that, like, if you want to hire a VA or hire a service to go do your scripture research for you, and then they just give you a file and you can extract the ones that resonate with you out of it, that's fine too, because you can always hire somebody to pull out scriptures. Just say, okay, I'm just going to hire you for whatever. Get your girls to do it. Give them some money and tell them, let you go hang out on the internet. I need you to go find all the love scriptures. Whatever works for you. You decide how you want to do it. But at the end of the day, you do have to make sure you're making time for these two, because this is the creation of the product. This is the research, the deep research before you get to the creation of the product. This is the creating of the listing. For the things that happen to be, downloadable, those you can incorporate that into your 1 hour or 2 hour time. So strip off some time for that. But when it comes to your t-shirts and your notebooks, you're going to spend maybe out of your 1 hour or 2 hours, you're going to have to siphon off around 10 to 15 minutes just to go double check to make sure the shirts went out okay, make sure the orders are being processed, see if there's any issues, whatever. Or you can, again, hire a service to do some of the intermittent research for you. So then that way they notify you about the things that really didn't go out. Because once you're profitable, you can hire a VA to do some of this checking for you. Sourcing. The sourcing thing, part of this that you have to be mindful of is that you may have to, in your quarterly or monthly research, if you know you're creating t-shirts, that may be when you go out and say, which one of the t-shirt providers or suppliers has the fastest shipping, has the best rates right now, which one? Because for the quarter, I know that I'm going to use XYZ to print my t-shirts, whoever XYZ is. So as part of your, again, monthly and quarterly planning, you can go do that research on sourcing. Which print-on-demand suppliers do you want to go with? Which platform do you want to use? Who has the best price? Order a couple of the t-shirts and feel the quality. This one is a better quality than that one. These feel thin and cheap. These look, I've washed these twice and they fade. Like, go do that strategic reconnaissance so that way you're selling a quality product to your customers and you can reduce your potential returns. All right. Then your customer service, again, if you get to a place where you are growing exponentially, maybe after month 4, you set aside some money to hire a VA. If you hire one overseas, I can tell you, you will pay far less than you will for someone in the US. You hire your kids, of course, you're going to pay far less, and you can also incorporate that into your tax strategy. So you can decide if you want to hire your daughter to maybe work for you 5 hours a week or 1 hour a day, and she can do some of the customer service and checking, because as your volume grows, so are the inquiries or the potential returns or the potential feedback or the potential refunds that you have to deal with or other things. She could be checking for your listings to make sure that they automatically went out with whoever, or sorry, your integrations to make sure that they automatically went out with whichever supplier. So if you're using Printful or Printify, Redbubble, whoever you're using, Teespring, Custom Link, whoever you're using to print your t-shirts, that she confirms for you that they went out. And then marketing and traffic. So the goal is for you to get good at doing keyword research and getting good at long tail keywords and being strategic on that Sunday and Monday of going out there and looking at your competitors' listing, because that will cut some of the time. It won't cut all the time, but the strategy I use with my VAs is they go out and they look at whatever I'm about to sell. They go out there and look at the top 10 or top 20 listings, and they make a note of all the common words in the titles, and they make a note of all the common words that are in the listing. So when I say common words, like the top 5 common words that are in almost all of the titles, how many times did you find it in these 20? So that saves me a bunch of time. And what were the top? That's an organic method of doing that if you don't have the money for any of the software to pay for the paid version. And then the same thing with the listings. They'll go through and they'll look for the top 10 words that are used multiple times, throughout the listing, on my competitors that are selling similar or exactly the same thing. So that way I can save myself a little bit of time. I'm going to do my own writing, but again, saves me some time. You can also use that Sunday or Monday to write your templates, or in the monthly planning, you can build out your template listings. If you already know you're going to build scripture listings, you can start building that template and just keep plugging that template every single day the entire month of January. Same thing for February. You just plug and play. So you just switch out a couple of words here and there. The entire template for the listing is already done, and it makes it so much faster to create the listing. Same thing with the notebooks. Does all of that make sense so far?
Yes. Yep.
So what ends up happening is you actually end up you're structuring your business so that it is sustainable, because you're putting in automated processes, or you're streamlining some of the work versus having to do it one at a time, creating one listing at a time. If you have a template, you can go so much faster. If you already have the keywords, you can go so much faster. All of those things are there to help you to be able. So this is how You know, when you look at some people who are doing really well in this journey, they have figured out and they sustain it, because most people start stuff and quit. So they sustain it by automating or streamlining what they're doing. And this is a way to do that. Be strategic and be methodical about what it is that you're going to be doing. Now, here's the other thing. If you decide to hire a VA, you know, I would start off with trying to find somebody that can do at least 5 hours a week at a minimum, and then eventually them be willing to grow with you as your business grows. Because by the end of the year, you're going to have over 1,000 listings at this rate. You know, if we keep working on selling things in bundles and selling them as individuals and blah, 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 you could probably have anywhere to 500 to 1,000 listings, depending on how you do this. Okay. So your VA could do some of the research for you, preparing you for the next quarter. So that could be one of the things that you give your VA at the end of, let's say, at the end of quarter two. So maybe that that last week in the end of quarter two, you're going to tell the VA to go out there and do some research to prepare you for whatever you're going to look at for quarter three. Go get the data for you. So then that way, when you sit down with your 2 days or however many hours that ends up really being, and your 1 day for the month, or however many hours that really ends up being, so that may end up being 12 hours, maybe 8 hours, and maybe 6 hours. I don't know. But whatever, how many hours that is, that you save yourself some time so you can focus on the things that really matter. This is my game plan for the month of, I don't know, August. Here's my game plan. Here's my strategy. These are the things I'm going to sell based on what I know. And you're doing it in advance. You're doing it in advance. Okay. So if we know, backing up just a little bit, we know the t-shirts sell like hotcakes in February. When do you think my listings for my t-shirts really should have been up?
December.
January.
There you
Or
go.
December, yeah.
Yeah, December or January. If we know that notebooks really sell like hotcakes in March, when should I have probably put my notebook listings up? So you're gonna be a little bit behind as you start this journey, but as you start to make some money, the goal is for where you can steal time to catch up or start gradually getting ahead. You're going to start getting ahead. So that next year, those t-shirt listings that you already have live, that you did all that work in February, okay, and you put them live in February, even though, you know, a little late to the game, that's all right. We're still good. Next year, when you come around, your t-shirt listings are already there. You can just tweak them, put them on sale, whatever you want to do. That is work you don't have to do again. You just need to make sure that the supplier can still print them at whatever the price is for the supplier, so you can adjust your price. It's already done. You're not taking them down. You can repurpose them, you can recycle them, you can adjust them, you can change them, and they're already there. Now, that's all of the let's do everything. Am I still here? It's spinning now. What does that mean?
I still hear you.
Okay. So I'm like, it's spinning now. What does that mean? So then the other side of that is taking advantage of the every day is a holiday list. So if you decide you're going to do this part, your main idea, your main concept, what you really want to build and build an empire around this, which is around scriptures, then the other stuff is what I refer to as the low-hanging fruit. The stuff that's the every day is a holiday. So if you can figure out how to gain 1 more hour, spend 1 more hour every single day working on the low-hanging fruit. So 2 hours are 100% invested on building this empire. And at the end of the day, you're going to brand it, you're going to trademark it, you're going to, you're going to have some copyright things. I don't know how much you can with the scriptures, because I don't think they'll let you copyright any scriptures, but if there's something that's unique, that's a quote to you, you could copyright that. So, but you're going to trademark this and you're going to turn this into whatever LLC or corporation or whatever it's going to be. To continue to get cash flow coming in, you can every once in a while dip your toe into the things that are coming up that's low-hanging fruit opportunities for you. So if you already had the love t-shirts that you created for February, hypothetically, or the love scriptures that you pulled together, what other things could you sell in the month of February that's already popular, already going to happen? Is a lot of Valentine's Day stuff. So in December, you know that it's coming. You did all this work and your February t-shirts are ready to go. So we're going through a whole year here. And so in December, you can go and say, okay, And I'm going to go look and see what's available on every day as a holiday, and what can I throw some scriptures on that are Valentine's Day themed or gifts or whatever. So I could offer engraving, and I can use this supplier, this sourcing company, and I can offer, handmade bracelets with scriptures or whatever, and I can use this supplier. So you can create some other mix and match products that you can bundle together with your existing listings, or mix and match products that you could sell standalone, because Valentine's Day is coming, because Mother's Day is coming, because Easter is coming, because Father's Day is coming. So if you can find one more hour, that 3-hour investment every single day, 7 days a week, will pay off. It will pay off. You'll spend 2 hours building your empire, and you'll spend 1 hour taking advantage of the low-hanging fruit. And you'll be strategic about the low-hanging fruit. You definitely need to be. You need to decide, when you do your monthly planning, go look at the list of the things that are on the low-hanging fruit. So if I'm going to go over here and I'm going to go look at February, I am going to, is this helpful?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to go to, I got to scoot over it, clearly. I got to keep going up. All right.
I am gonna have to go though. We have church at 7 o'clock on Saturday nights, so I need
Okay.
to be
All
there.
right.
in
Well, I
just a
hope this
few-
helped you, so you can
Yes.
start putting together a game plan for your stuff.
Yes, definitely
Okay.
so. Thank you
right.
so much.
You're welcome. So when I look at February, okay, so I could decide out of February, I'm going to tackle 20 things, maybe 20. So I could do drink wine day. I could do random acts of kindness day. I could do almond day. I could do President's Day. I can do, so pick 20 that you're going to hang out with, and you're going to create some kind of product, or put something on to a product, whether it be wall arts, note bags, whatever. Okay, so you pick 20, and that's where you're going to spend that 1 extra hour. You're going to design one thing every single day, so that way, when the next year comes around, what happens? All that stuff is already ready to go. I don't have to create anything new if I don't want to. I can just change the colors on them. I can change the font if I want to change the font, or I can just leave the listings alone and put them on sale or put them on showcase. Thing I need to do is double check to make sure that my printer is still available, or my source, my supplier is still available, and that their price is still good, and that the quality of their product hasn't gone down. Okay, so go check the ratings to say, oh, you guys started using those cheap t-shirts. That's the reason why people started returning stuff. So I think you get it. See, there's doggy date night, there's Groundhog Day. I mean, so many opportunities. You can do all that work in December, so that it's ready to go for February. So you got to gain some traction first. We're going to build the habit of consistency first. Then we're going to maybe go for a short sprint. Maybe for 1 month, we're going to do double the work for 1 month. Maybe you find that double the work opportunity in December, or maybe the double the work opportunity is in October. I don't know. But we're going to go for a sprint so we can gain 1 month. And then we're going to continue back to our normal day-to-day running our business. And then maybe we'll do a second sprint, and now we're 2 months in advance. Now we're cooking with grease. We are cooking with grease for real now, because once you get that, then it's good to go. And when I say 1 month sprint and a 2 month sprint, that means if you're already working 2 hours a day every single day in your business, for 1 month you go to 4 hours a day. Just for 1 month, you're going to do a sprint. That's it. Just for 1 month. You're going to do 4 hours a day, so you can gain those, do the next month's worth of stuff in advance. Okay. And then the same thing with that second sprint. You're going to go from working 2 hours up to 4. And then now you're going to stay at 2 for the rest of the time, because now you're 2 months in advance and you're in a good position. All right. So your assignment is to go out here, first of all, do the mind mapping. Go use the tool and do some mind mapping. Do the brain dump to dump all the ideas, because you probably have some amazing ideas, and just dump them and see where it takes you. Okay. Come up with the ideas that you have for what you think is going to work for you. Okay. Then after you do this mind map, because you're going to have your center thing and there's a bunch of stuff that's going to splinter off of that. The next thing that you're going to do is you can start by building in an Excel spreadsheet or whatever you want to, your strategic ideas. Just start with, what do I think based on what I know, not because I've done any deep research, but just my gut feeling. I feel like in January, t-shirts sell. I feel like in February that, journals sell, or maybe in January, I feel like journals sell, and February t-shirts sell. You can decide and just do a brain dump and then go validate your research. And then once you validate your research, you got something to work with. And start executing your plan. But you got to build your schedule first. Okay?
Yes.
All right. I think I got it. I think I kind of gave you a roadmap to go down. Hopefully this helped you. It is a lot, so you can spread this out over a couple of weeks. But definitely put together a game plan, because it's worth it. And then you'll know. When I say I know what we're working on in July and August and September, I know what we're working on. There's a method to my madness. Like, okay, I know when people start putting out their Q4 courses. So I need to be ahead of when they put out their Q4 courses. What can I do? That's the reason why I offer the Q4 Summit. So with that, huh?
I said, this is doable.
Yeah. You just have 2 months where you have to do 2 sprints. And you can figure out where in your life those sprints will work. And then I would encourage you once a quarter just to take a vacation day so that you can be away from everybody in the silence of whatever and really do some planning for the quarter so that you can go back to your 2 hours a day or 1 hour a day. Or 3 hours a day if you're going to take on the low-hanging fruit. So before you know it, you'll be like, I worked myself out of a job. I got my whole family working. We are millionaires now. We are moving to Tahiti.